Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Center for Biomedical and Minority Health Research Community Engagement Course Seminar for this month of June. We are very excited to present to you on an important topic, which we'll be focusing on for this entire quarter. And today, our focus is on achieving my healthy body through lifestyle change and medications.
Texas Southern University's Center for Biomedical and Minority Health Research Community Engagement Corps is funded by the National Institute of Minority Health and Health Disparity Research Center for Minority Institutions program. The CEC works directly with communities to identify and address health-related concerns and reduce health disparities related to ethnic minorities. We provide health education and partnerships with healthcare systems, federally qualified health centers, community and faith-based organizations. For more information, visit us on social media at CEC Texas Southern U or give us a call at 713-313-1233 or send us an email at cb
And this brings us to the general announcements, as we've just listened into the introduction about the Community Engagement Corps. So we want to thank you for making the time to join us this afternoon. Please remain muted throughout the course of today's presentation. We would have the opportunity to take some questions and answers at the end of the session. Also, feel free to post in your questions, your answer, or whatever comments you have through the course of the presentation in the Q&A box, and we will be answering those at the very end of today's presentation. You can either use the Q&A box or feel free to use the chat box, whichever one works best for you. Network, and that is the partner that we have for today. We have a short video from Dawn, and stay tuned while we play this video for the group.
We all want to be healthy, to feel good and function better. Our health is the foundation of all our goals, dreams, and all that we value most. But too often, you don't realize just how important your health is until you lose it and when crisis hits. Then we're willing to do whatever it takes to gain our health back. Here at Dawn, the Diabetes Awareness and Wellness Network, we offer free programming and services to those diagnosed with and at risk for diabetes.
I come here, it's like I'm coming home. Well, they're very supportive, you know, and if I have any concern, they will help me out with any concern. And that helps a lot, especially when you live by yourself. So it's been very helpful. Out there, if people need a lot of help, because there are people that have diabetes and they don't even know they have it. And that's why so many people are in a lot of trouble, health trouble. I learned how to eat right. Hard, but it's been great because they're very supportive.
At Dawn, members enjoy a full one-stop shop for diabetes and wellness education. We provide lifestyle enhancement to improve disease management and quality of life. Active living, healthy eating, self-management, health connections, health coaching, and community engagement. Enrollment is free, so become a Dawn member today and take control of your future.
So many thanks to Dawn and to the Houston Health Department for their support in that regards. Okay, I think I paused it. Okay. All right, towards the end of today's presentation, we would have opportunities to send out surveys, which will be posted in the chat. And we really do want to hear back from each and every one of you, our wonderful attendees and audience for today's event. We want to hear back from you regarding to this presentation, as well as any other topic that you would like us to discuss in our upcoming seminars and conferences. So please complete the survey. And we also have the opportunity to give away $10 to 10 eligible participants that complete the survey. So please, we would like to hear back from you so we continue to remain responsive to the need of the community at large in what we are doing here in the Community Engagement Core. All right, just a couple of announcements. We do have 2 upcoming events that we'd like to share with everyone on today's meeting. The first one being the Obesity Community Conversation. So this is a focus group looking to, discuss issues about weight management, weight loss, controlling, weight gain, either as a person or if you have any family member that is interested in this. So please, if you would like to share this experience, please join us in this event. It's going to be next Saturday, actually 2 Saturdays from now, July 17th at 10 a.m. This is going to be virtual on Zoom, so we hope it's convenient. And we are giving $50 as a way to say thank you for your participation in this community conversation. If you are interested, please contact Miss Dr. Aseta Richards, 281-667-4466, or send the email to the email that is shown on the flyer. The second announcement we have to make is concerning our next month's health seminar, which is going to be held on Thursday, July 29th at 12 o'clock. And this is going to be around self-care and resources for achieving a healthy body. So like I said, this entire quarter, June, July, August, we are focusing on healthy weight, healthy body, and how to achieve and maintain those goals. So please save the date, and we hope that you can join us again in July. All right, this now brings me to the introduction of our very own speakers for today's meeting, today's seminar. So we have the opportunity of having 2 distinguished speakers that will be leading us in the course of today's webinar. The first of them is Dr. Uche Anadu Ndefo. Dr. Uche Anadu Ndefo is a professor of pharmacy practice in the College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences here at Texas Southern University. She serves as the Director of Educational Effectiveness for the Texas Southern University's Pharm program, as well as the co-associate director for the CBMHR Community Engagement Core. Our research interest includes medication therapy management, health disparity, pharmacoeconomics, and minority health. So Dr. Ndefo, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon to share your wealth of experience with us as we discuss ways to manage and to achieve a healthy body and a healthy lifestyle. In addition to having Dr. Ndefo, we also have the privilege of having Mr. Caleb Boutte. Mr. Caleb is a public health educator and a certified personal trainer for the Dawn Center, a community-based wellness program focused on educating individuals on managing or preventing type 2 diabetes. Caleb specializes in creating workout programs and provides personal training for individuals who are living with or at risk for that type 2 diabetes. Mr. Caleb also teaches the group strength training class called XSTAT, which promotes functional fitness for seniors. So today we are very excited. We are not just only going to talk about how to achieve your healthy body. Mr. Caleb is going to walk us through some practical ways, some, weightlifting approach, how to maintain, movement, and how to maintain some of these realistic goals so that we can continue to have a healthy body and live a healthy lifestyle. Without further ado, I will go ahead and turn it over to Dr. Uche for a portion of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ajiwale. I am very excited today to have the opportunity to talk to you guys about achieving your healthy body with lifestyle changes and medications. So let's see. When you think of the word healthy, I want you to just take a moment and think about what that word means to you. What does the word healthy mean to you? If you're able to, you can put it in the chat. I would like to know what the word healthy means to those of you who are logged on. Let's see if I'm able to see the chat box. Okay, somebody said feeling good. Somebody else said eating right, no illness, balanced to perform at optimal performance, either mentally, emotionally, or physically, thriving through life, and overall wellness of the mind, soul, and body. I love all of these. And the reason I asked for that definition is depending on who you're talking to and what you're talking about, healthy can mean a whole lot of things, right? So I agree with all the different things that you have said, a balance between mental, emotional, physical health. I agree with that. Today, I'm going to focus on heart health. Okay, so healthy means a whole lot of things, and hopefully over the next 3 sessions, when we talk about achieving your healthy body, you'll get to sort of see the spectrum of what we are discussing with health. Today, I'm going to focus on heart health. Okay, so a lot of times when you get information, I'm a very big believer in the source of the information, right? Just understanding and being sure that whatever it is, you are saying that there's actually science behind it, and there's actually something that information comes from somewhere and not just someone's opinion. So the things I'm going to be sharing with you today are from the American College of Cardiology and the American Heart Association. So these 2 organizations came together and they wrote guidelines for the prevention of heart disease. These guidelines were updated in 2019, so they are very current. Right before the pandemic started was when these guidelines were released. So they're pretty current, and that's where I'm going to focus what we're talking about today. So some major risk factors for heart disease: obesity, and I have that capitalized because we're going to address that today. Dyslipidemia, and dyslipidemia just means bad cholesterol, if you will. Tobacco, we all know about, the dangers of smoking, etc. A family history of heart disease. Chronic inflammatory diseases, these are things like lupus, MS, those things put you at higher risk for heart disease. And I'm sure we're all aware, hypertension and type 2 diabetes as well. Those things all put you at risk for having heart disease. Now, what we want to do is work towards what we can control. We can't control our family history, right? But we can control whether or not we use tobacco. We can try to control our diabetes, our hypertension, but today we're going to focus on giving you some tools for obesity and for dyslipidemia. All right, so I'm going to start with obesity. And as when Dr. Ajiwale introduced me, she mentioned that I'm a pharmacist. I teach at CSU in the College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. So my take on this is going to be from that perspective. But that's why we also have somebody else who will talk to us from a physical education point of view. So the first thing I want us to start off doing is calculating our BMI. And let's see if I can't, oh, I hope this works. Okay, are you still able to see my screen where I'm sharing how to calculate your BMI?
What we can see now, okay. I think I can see the slide. Were you intending to pop up like an internet page?
I was, but you know what I'll do? I'm just gonna put it in the chat box.
Okay, and take care of that. Yeah, let me do that for you. Do you want me to do that?
I got it.
You got it? Okay, awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
So if y'all can see in the chat box, I put in where you can go and calculate your BMI. And BMI stands for Body Mass Index. Now, there are lots of opinions about BMI and whether it really should just be one equation for everybody, all body types, etc. But I like BMI because it's something universal that we can sort of all use, and it gives a general idea. So, you know, if you happen to be on the cusp of either one of these two numbers, that may mean that you're not quite obese or you're not quite overweight, but it still gives you a general idea where you're supposed to be. Okay, so if you're able, go ahead and click on the link and calculate your BMI. If your weight is less than 25, then your weight is considered normal, okay? And that doesn't mean that you can't, there's no room for improvement in your lifestyle, right? It just means that according to the American Cardiology, College of Cardiology and American Heart Association, they consider you to be of normal weight, okay? If your weight is between 25 and 29.9, you're considered overweight. You're not obese, but your weight is not quite ideal. There's just a little wiggle room there, a little room for you to lose a little weight. These are going to be the people who tell you like, yeah, I know I could probably lose 5 to 10 pounds, right? And then obese is considered 30 or greater. So I hope that y'all have had a chance to sort of plug in your numbers. You just have to know how much you weigh and how tall you are, and you'll be able to figure out what your BMI is. So you don't have to put it in the chat. I just want you to know what it is for yourself. You don't have to tell me what it is. It's personal information, but I do want everybody that's on to go ahead and calculate that for me. Okay. The other thing that we're going to focus on today would be your lipids. I used the word dyslipidemia, and I said that that meant that there was something wrong with your cholesterol. And with cholesterol, I'm not gonna, go into a lot of the details about cholesterol, but I want you to know that there is good and bad cholesterol. Cholesterol is found in all our cells, and it's something that we need. Our body uses it to make things like steroid hormones, vitamin D, bile. It's necessary. Our body actually manufactures about 75% of the cholesterol in our body, and then our diet accounts for the other 25%. So cholesterol is something that is found in our cells because we need it. The problem with cholesterol is that it can stick to the artery walls and form plaque, and that plaque can block blood flow. If those plaques rupture, your body responds by making clots. And those clots can now plug up the arteries, which means that your blood is not able to flow as freely. And that can cause a heart attack. It can cause a stroke. It can cause what we call PAD, or peripheral artery disease, where your blood flow is not as good in your periphery, like in your hands and your feet. And there are, like I said earlier, there is good cholesterol and there's bad cholesterol. So that's why I use the word dyslipidemia, because we want your HDL, which is the good cholesterol, to be high. So I want you to think of HDL, the H in front of the DL is high. So we want your HDL to be high because it's good, and we want your LDL to be low because it's bad, okay? So knowing what we want our weight to be, and knowing that we want to keep our cholesterol within normal limits, what do we do to achieve a heart healthy body? Okay, so today we're focusing on heart health. So the biggest thing you can do, according to these guidelines, is lifestyle changes. There are 3 things I want you to walk away with today if you remember nothing else that we talk about, which is, do not underestimate the power of daily habits. The little things you do every day add up to those numbers that you see on the scale, the blood work that you end up doing when you go to the doctor's office. It's all from the little habits, the little things that you do every day. Waking up at a decent hour, getting out of bed, taking the extra steps to walk to the mailbox and back, parking far away from your destination so that you have a few extra steps to go, making sure that if you're at work, that you stand up. My watch makes me stand up every hour, but you stand up for at least 1 to 2 minutes every hour so that your body is not just sitting in one position all day. If y'all remember back in high school physics, or actually these days they teach it as early as elementary school, but the laws of motion, right? Where a body in motion stays in motion, but a body at rest stays at rest. And if you just make yourself get up and move around and walk around, it helps circulate your blood flow. I read somewhere where it said, show me your daily routine and I'll show you your future. So if you are able to sort of, have a lifestyle that supports heart health, and you're doing that every day, then your future is heart healthy versus, somebody who does not have any of those healthy habits. Those daily things, those little things that you do every day add up. So, the idea is to weave those healthy habits into your day so that you are able to sort of, without doing it on purpose, living a healthy lifestyle. So what exactly does that mean? What are examples of things you can do? So the first one that I want to talk about is nutrition. So nutrition for heart health means that your diet is plant-based. In other words, you are creating your meals around a plant and not around your meats, right? So it's a plant-based diet. It doesn't mean that you have to become vegetarian or vegan. It just means that your focus in your meal is the plant. Okay, vegetables, fruits, nuts, whole grains, lean protein, preferably fish, but any type of lean meat actually is fine. Fish is just preferred because it has so many nutrients built in. And then any vegetables that have fiber are also considered to be heart healthy. And, I had to include this list. I know that everything on here you already know is not good for you, but sometimes it's nice to hear the reminder. Sugar, low-calorie sweeteners, they actually include low-calorie sweeteners as one of the things that needs to needs to be reduced in your meals, and I know a lot of people feel that these low calorie sweeteners are good for you, and they actually have in the heart healthy guidelines that these are not advised. High carb diets, they also say that low carb diets are not good for your heart, because the problem with low carb diets is that you do end up eating a lot of foods that have more saturated fat and more red meat and more processed meat. And those things have also been proven not to be healthy for the heart. Refined grains, refined carbohydrates, highly processed carbohydrates are not recommended. Trans fat, saturated fat, sodium. For the people that have hypertension, we know that sodium is also not our friend. Red meat, processed meats of any kind are also not good for heart health. Okay. Now, for weight loss, when it comes to nutrition, because I decided to sort of tackle these differently, the things I listed for you are the things that you should or should not eat for your heart to be healthy. But if you calculated the BMI and you found yourself in that overweight or obese category, your focus and you decide that you want to embark on a weight loss journey, what the guidelines recommend is reducing your caloric intake by about 500 kilocalories per day, or making sure that you're not consuming, or that making sure that you're consuming somewhere between 800 and 1500 kilocalories per day. To be able to do that, what are some daily habits that you can establish that will enable you to be able to do that? One is swapping your snack, right? So as opposed to having, potato chips that are highly processed and fried and, very highly caloric, you can swap that for an apple. Or you can say, okay, I normally have a bag of Doritos, about a roll of Oreo cookies, etc. I'm just going to cut one of those out a day, okay? Try not to drink your calories. This is one that I have to remind myself often because I like carbonated drinks. I've had to replace those with sparkling water, because the sparkling water still gives me that carbonation feeling and I get the flavored ones. So, it helps. It's not quite the same thing as a nice cold Coca-Cola, especially in, the Houston heat, but it still gives that refreshing feeling. So try not to drink your calories. That's one good way to cut out a lot of calories. Skip seconds. When you go, use a small plate and, put whatever is going to be on that plate. And when you're done with whatever you put on that small plate to begin with, just stop there. Okay, so try to make yourself not go back for seconds. What I try to do with this is, once I dish my food, I don't actually wait till I finish eating to put the rest of the food away. So if there's anything that's left after dishing, I just stop right there, pack it up, put it in the fridge or freezer, depending on where its final destination is, so that if I do decide that I want to go back for seconds, I would have to go back into the fridge, open it, bring it out, warm it up before I eat it. So those steps sort of discourage me from going back for seconds. So these are some just ideas of daily things that you can do to help reduce the amount of calories you're taking in. If you're eating out, ask for a doggy bag. I try to even ask for the doggy bag before I sit down. Like when they bring the plate, especially here in Houston, and they give you those Texas-sized portions. If you've ever eaten at any Papa's, everything they give you is the size of Texas, right? So I just go ahead and ask for a doggy bag. And before I start, I go ahead and cut that burger in half. And, now I have dinner for the next night or whatever it is. So ask for a doggy bag because you already know that the portion is unreasonable that you're about to get. Avoiding fried foods, just because there's so many more calories with fried foods. Request the grilled option when you can. One big one, especially if you're snacking, is to use a plate. Because if you're just eating out of the bag, you don't know how much you have eaten. Get a bag of chips and keep eating it, and before you know it, you've eaten half of the bag. But if you had actually poured it out on a plate, you would get to see what that portion looked like, and then you can decide whether or not that's how much you want to eat. Regardless, you know, it's a conscious decision how much you're getting to eat if you put what you're getting ready to snack on an actual plate. So these are just some ideas, and I'm sure that you guys may have some good ideas of things that you do that help reduce your caloric intake every day. Now on the physical activity piece, Mr. Caleb Boutte is going to discuss that with us. So I'm not going to talk about it a lot. I just wanted to highlight that the guidelines recommend for weight loss between 200 and 300 minutes of aerobic exercise per week. And then for heart health, they recommend about 150 minutes per week of moderate intensity exercise. But if it's going to be vigorous, then it can be less. It can be 75 minutes per week, and that's to keep your heart healthy. So you can see that if your goal is weight loss, you're going to have to do more than somebody who is just trying to maintain heart health. Okay. All right, so because I'm a pharmacist, we knew that this was coming. You might be listening to this and saying, you know what, I do all of these things that you just talked about, but you know, you see where I have in parentheses, okay, most, because who can really do all of those things? But you're trying, right? You're doing your best. You are trying to live healthy. You're trying to do the right things, but you're still overweight, or you're still obese, or you still have high cholesterol. So what's next? You've done the nutrition thing. You've done the, you know, you're doing the nutrition thing. You're doing the physical activities, but you're still not ideally where you want to be. Your weight is not where you want it to be, or your cholesterol is not where you want it to be. Consider medications. Medications do not replace a healthy lifestyle, or you don't start taking the medications and then say, well, now that I'm taking the medications, I can just eat up all this cholesterol and it should be fine. Or now that I'm taking these medications, I don't have to work out as hard. I don't have to watch what I'm eating because I'm taking a medication that's helping me with weight loss. You can out-eat your medications. You can, so medications are a supplement. They add on to a healthy lifestyle, but you're going to need the lifestyle changes plus the medications in some cases when the lifestyle changes are not enough. Okay. You guys can see the teacher in me keeps pausing because I need to make sure that my students are understanding, but because we're on Zoom, I can't see your faces. So I'm just going to have to pause until the end and see if you guys have any questions, but please make sure that you're putting whatever questions you have in the Q&A box for me, and I'll be happy to address them when we're done. So there are medications that can help with lipids, and these medications, the standard of care they're called statins, and statins reduce the risk of heart disease. So, you know, prior to probably the late 2010s, we used to treat to a particular number. If you came and I was talking to you about lipids in the late 90s or the early 2000s, I would have been giving you specific numbers that are your target, but we don't do that anymore. There are specific people that we know can benefit from statin therapy regardless of what their numbers look like, sort of such as patients with diabetes, patients with a very strong family history of early heart disease, patients that have already had an atherosclerotic cardiovascular event, like if you've already had a heart attack or if you've already had a stroke, those people we know need to be on a statin. So we know that the statins reduce the risk for heart disease. We know that they lower the bad cholesterol, which is the LDL, also triglycerides, and they increase the good cholesterol. They help us keep that HDL high and that LDL low. And before I continue, I wanted you to know what I'm referring to when I say a statin. And if you've watched TV anytime in the past 20 years, you probably know about Zocor and Crestor and Lipitor, because those ones I know had a lot of commercials earlier in the decades. But lovastatin, pravastatin, simvastatin, fluvastatin, atorvastatin, rosuvastatin, pitavastatin, all of those are considered statins. And what they do is they actually prevent the cholesterol from being made in your body, or prevent, not all of it, but they prevent some of it from being made. So your body ends up making less cholesterol. And what's important here is that these drugs actually save lives. They actually reduce the risk for heart disease. So if you are eating right and doing all those things you're supposed to do, you might still be recommended to be on a statin, because these statins have been proven to save lives, even in people who don't have high cholesterol, just because of the other risk factors for heart disease. Sometimes statins are not enough. And when statins are not enough, there's something called a PCSK9 inhibitor. They're more expensive. They are an injection as opposed to the statins that are a once-a-day pill. These are injections that you do maybe every 2 weeks or once a month. They are more expensive than statins. So we really do want the statins to be the first line or the first place that you would go to for this. But if it doesn't work, the PCSK9 inhibitors are an option. And there's also ezetimibe or Zetia, which is a cholesterol absorption inhibitor. That one is a once-a-day tablet as well. And sometimes these can be added onto a statin to sort of help us get to what our goals are. So don't be afraid of the medications. If a medication is recommended to you like a statin, it is probably necessary. And it definitely does help promote heart health. This is just a list of people who are supposed to be on a statin. So if you have heart disease already, if your LDL, which is the bad cholesterol, is greater than 190, if you have diabetes and you're at least 40 years of age, a statin is recommended. Or if you just have very high risk, things like a family history and obesity, some of those things may put you at high risk. And we call those people primary prevention based on what your risk factors look like. Now for obesity, there are also some options for the treatment of obesity with medications. There are 6 that I wanted to highlight or talk about today that are available via prescription. There's actually one that's available over the counter. So there's phentermine or Adipex, which works as an appetite suppressant. And then there's a combination of phentermine and topiramate, which also works as an appetite suppressant. Phentermine is available as a generic and is a lot more affordable than Quizmia. But Quizmia is also available and is newer. It's a prescription, but depending on your insurance, you might be able to also use one of those coupons to help make it a little bit more affordable. Both of those are oral tablets that you take once a day. And then you have liraglutide and semaglutide, or Saxenda or Wegovy. Wegovy is very new. I think it was approved in the past month or two. And these 2 medications, they're GLP-1 receptor agonists. That doesn't really matter. What matters is that they were actually originally, they originally came to the market as medications for diabetes. So if you watch any television whatsoever, you have heard the Ozempic commercials, right? I won't sing the song, but it's very catchy. So Ozempic is actually the same active ingredient as Wegovy. It's just a higher dose. And Wegovy, when they were, looking at these medications for diabetes, they realized that these medications also help those patients with weight loss. So they further developed these drugs as weight loss drugs, and they are very effective. They are injectable, so you do have to inject them. Saxenda is, I want to say twice a day, it might be once a day, and Wegovy is once a week, but these medications help with weight loss. There's also naltrexone bupropion, and it works similar to liraglutide and semaglutide, but it does have the stimulant effect like the phentermine and the Quizmia do. The last one that I wanted you to be aware of is called Xenical. That one is a prescription, but over the counter, there's a lower dose called Ally. And that medication helps reduce the amount of fat that is absorbed by your digestive system. So because we know that foods that are high in fat are also high in calories, this drug works by not letting you letting your body absorb the fats that you consume. So it just helps sort of get rid of the fat that in the food that you've consumed. So people don't really enjoy the Orlistat or the Ally because that side effect of getting rid of the amount of fat that you digested can be very unpleasant if you absorb or if you consume too much fat. But there are options out there that are medications that are safe that you should feel free to discuss with your primary care provider whenever you go see them. If you're doing your part with lifestyle and it's not working, please don't be shy about having conversations with your primary care provider, with your physician, about these options for medications. I wanted to end by acknowledging that there is a reason, right? There is a reason why everybody's not walking around, very svelte and, everybody having all their things together, because we have roadblocks, right? Healthy foods sometimes are not as delicious as the ones that are covered in butter and, bacon flavored and all those other things where there's just that richness, right? Physical activity, especially in Houston in the summer, not today because it's been raining all day, but generally it's not exciting to go outside and have the hot sun beat down on you while you're trying to run. And, healthy food is expensive. I get very irritated because I'll buy a lot of fruits and then I'll just watch them, rot in the refrigerator because my children didn't eat it on time. Or, when I get to the grocery store, I have all the ambition in the world to come home and cook super healthy things. And then I didn't do it that day or the next day. And by the next, 3 or 4 days, it's wilted and then it's moldy. So healthy habits can be expensive, having to pay for a gym. One of my friends just bought a Peloton and having to pay for that subscription. So those things cost money. And then making the time to actually use it and do those things. And that's where Caleb is going to come in, because he is going to give us some high impact things that we can do where we don't have to spend 2 hours working out at a gym every day to be able to be healthy. I want to leave you on the note of how to overcome roadblocks. Be kind to yourself. It's okay to have a setback. They do happen. Reward yourself when you do the right thing, and then track your progress to stay motivated. I like looking at my watch to see how many rings I've closed, and those things help me just stay motivated, because I'm looking to see how I'm doing. I step on a scale every morning just to, I don't have to lose any weight, but if I didn't gain anything, I feel good about it. If I, did, I have to sort of adjust my daily habits for that next day. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Caleb. Sorry, I did have one more slide. If you are feeling demotivated, something to try to remember are what are your whys? And, I wanted to also tie it back to when I asked you what healthy meant, where you guys, mentioned what healthy means to you, but some reasons, to have that healthy heart and that healthy lifestyle is because it helps you have more energy, maintain a healthy weight. There's a feeling of pride when you do what you're supposed to do. If you are like me and you have kids at home, you want to set a good example because you want them to also have a healthy lifestyle. You want to just have overall good health, and then you want to feel better about yourself. So with that, I'm going to pause and I'm going to turn it over to Caleb. Thank you so much for your attention, and I can't wait to answer your questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ndefo. That is, a lot of information that has been covered, and I'm so sure that our audience have benefited a lot from today's presentation. I've already gotten a couple of questions in the chat box, in the Q&A box, so please keep those questions coming. We will answer all the questions at the very end, okay? Right now, we're going to turn the switch over to Mr. Caleb. I'm excited about this. So if you don't have your weight, go grab a bottle of water, grab something to be able to do some workout, just for like the next 10 to 15 minutes, right? We just don't talk. We need to put into action the things that we have spoken about today. So Mr. Caleb, thank you again for joining us, and I will turn it over to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Ajiwale. So yes, and just to expand upon the presentation, yeah, you do want at least 150 minutes to 300 minutes of physical activity per week. You want to add in a little bit of moderate to intensity exercise, which I'm going to show you guys just right now. So make sure you have your weights, you have your chair, and some water just in case you may need it. All right. So I'm going to sit back here to show you guys some exercises. So in the meantime, while we're exercising, I want you to think about a question. I have a question for you that I want you to think about the answer. The question is, what do you think exercise is? Like, what is your definition of exercise? So I want you to think about that as we're exercising. In the meantime, we're going to just do a slight warm up. Usually whenever you're lifting weights, you want to warm up your body before you start lifting heavy weights. So the first exercise we're going to do, we're going to work on our upper back. And it's a very simple exercise. Pretty much what I'm going to do is make two fists, place them in front of my chest here, keep those arms straight, and bring those hands as far back as you can. And just bring those hands back together. Just 15 reps, all right? So we're just trying to warm up the body because we're going to use this stuff later, all right? Yeah, so breathe in the nose, out the mouth. Yep, you may feel some pops, some cracks going on, but that's a good thing. It's not bad at all. All right. All right, so count to 15. All right. Good, good, good. Okay, one more. All right. So the next exercise we're going to do is our shoulder press. So we're just going to place our hands right beside each other. And then from there, let's go straight up and then slowly back down. All right. Just like this. So we're just trying to warm up the shoulders. Good. Just straight up and down. Good. Yeah, so before you do any exercise, you want to warm up the body. Okay. 2 more. 1 more. Okay, good stuff, good stuff. All right, so you should actually feel a little bit of a blood rushing through the body, and this is a good thing. We're trying to get the blood circulating throughout our body so we can do these exercises safely. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to do our upper body exercises first. Make sure you have your weights with you. I have 5 pounds with me. But if you have at least a 1 pound or 2 pound, or even your water bottles, that's fine as well too. All right, so the first exercise we're going to do is our back row. So I have my feet together. I'm going to look down at my shoes, place the weights behind my legs like this, and then from here, bring the elbows up towards the ceiling and slowly back down. So let's do 15 of this. All right, so 2, 3, 4. Make sure you look at the floor as you do this. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. All right, good stuff, good stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and put the weights down for now. I hope you felt that all of your back. It's like somebody gave you a good back massage. So, all right, so the next exercise we're gonna do is our leg press. So here's the thing about it. You can still work on your legs even when you're sitting down. So I'm going to show you an exercise that actually helps build up the hip flexors right in the side of the hips. And so simply all you do is lean back in your chair. You keep one foot out on the floor. The other leg is going to be extended out. Toe is going to be pointed upwards. And with this straight leg, think about bringing your knee past the hip line, just like this. And slowly back down, touching the heel on the floor. And let's do this 15 reps. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Oh man, that's good old body weight exercises right there. You should feel it right there in the hips. All right. So let's go ahead and switch legs. Extend your opposite leg out. Keep the toes pointing upwards. The leg is straight. And then bring that knee past the waist. And then back down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. One more. You got it. And 15. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Felt like you just did a body squat on your sitting down. It's amazing. All right. So the next exercise we're going to do is work on the inside of the thighs. This is very important for actually strengthening up your the inside of your legs for walking, or if you're doing any running, for instance, as well too. So the way we're going to do this, we're going to continue to lean our backs against the our backrest. Spread your knees out, and then with one foot, all you're going to think about doing is bringing that knee to the opposite. So we're going to do this by raising up the foot and taking a step, just like this. Back out, step, back in, step. All right, so 2, 3, 4. You just feel a good stretch in the inside of the thigh. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. All right, good, good, good. All right, we're working those large muscle groups. All right, so let's go and do the other side, starting right now. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. All right. All right. So let's work on our armpit muscles, which is kind of this is actually the serratus here. So there is an exercise you can do that you don't even need to do a pull up or a pull down. So I'm going to show that to you right now. And the exercise is called the arm pullover. So the way we're going to do this is that we're going to keep our feet flat on the floor. I'm sitting at the edge of the chair so I won't hit my chair. But basically, all you're going to do is have your weights right beside your waist. I'm going to look down at my shoes, keeping those arms straight. I'm just going to bring my hands back like you're going skiing and slowly bring it back down to the floor. All right, so let's do 15 reps. 2, keep your shoulders down as you do this. 3, or compressed. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. All right, all right. That feels good, doesn't it? All right, we have 2 more exercises that I want to go over, and then we'll do a quick cool down. All right. So with these weights, we're just going to lean back in our chair. We're going to do our chest press. So the way that works, I have my chest out, the shoulders are down. I'm going to place the weights right beside my chest here. And then from here, just think about pushing up towards the ceiling, making them touch, and slowly bring them back down, just like this. All right. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. All right, good stuff, good stuff. All right, so yeah, we're working on the front of the chest here. So you want to have really good pushing strength, very important in exercise. All right, so our last exercise we're going to do, we're going to work on the rotator cuffs. So you can use weights if you want to. Ideally, you want to have light weight. So if you have water bottles, or you can use your body weight to do the exercise, I recommend that. But to show you what the exercise look like, we're just going to lean forward slightly. And then from here, have our hands right beside our legs. And then from here, just bring the weights out, just like this. And slowly bring them back to your legs. All right, so you can do this without weights as well too, okay? So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, And 15. All right, put the weights down. All right, how does that feel? You feel it in the arms and the shoulders? All right. How was the strength training class? All right. Good, good. All right, so let's go ahead and finish up with our cool down. And we're just going to do a couple stretches. So we're going to do a full body stretch while sitting in a chair. Basically, you want to keep your feet flat on the floor, lean back in the chair, and just reach as far up or behind as far as you can. Hold it here for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bring your hands out to the side. Give the world a big old hug. The hands are extended back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, lean forward. Look down at the floor. Lock your fingers together and stretch out that upper back. Just reach out in front of you. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, relax, relax. Okay, so that concludes the fitness portion. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And all right, thank you very much.
Wow, that is awesome. I hope, everyone on the call, the amazing audience, everybody was able to join and benefit from, today's presentation. Thank you so much, Mr. Caleb, and many thanks to the Houston Health Department, the Dunn Center, for making this opportunity available to us. Thank you to the incredible audience. I'm seeing the chat messages, of people actually following along. This is extremely beneficial. At this point, I'll go ahead and switch over for us to take some questions and answers that have come through. If I could have Dr. Ndefo and Mr. Caleb back up on the camera, because we do have a couple of questions for both of you from the audience. Thank you. The first question, let me see, Dr. Ndefo.
Yes.
Awesome, thank you so much. Okay, so the very first question that we have here will be for Mr. Caleb. And this question is from Mr. Ethan in the audience. Is saying that how long does it take to maintain a consistent habit, right? Because like we know, as Dr. Ndefo has taught us, as Mr. Caleb has said, this is not a one-time deal. This is not, okay, I do it for 1 week, 1 month, and I'm out, but we need to maintain consistency. So Mr. Caleb, what is your take on, building an habit or forming an habit? And I would, either Mr. Caleb or Dr. Ndefo, whichever of you is available to answer the question. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So really, when I've heard that it takes about 21 days to form a habit, but in terms of, incorporating a positive lifestyle, you want to make sure you set a consistent routine to exercise, whether it's in the morning or in the evening. But you want to be consistent in that front. And so usually, as time progresses and you're sticking to that routine, it could have been a month already. It could have been, but then also you want to continue that exercise routine. And as long as it's something you feel like you can still do 5 or 10 years from now, that is implemented into your everyday lifestyle. That's where we want when in terms of exercise and nutrition as well too. So, in terms of being active, it goes hand in hand. Nutrition, exercise, sleeping as well too. Medication, if you have to take it, it all goes hand in hand with maintaining a long-term lifestyle. So yeah, they do say it does take 21 days, but at the end, you want to try to incorporate it as an everyday lifestyle. And so
that's awesome. So 21 days, magic word, the magic approach. Dr. Ndefo, any take on that?
I think that what Caleb just said makes so much sense about doing something that you can see yourself doing 5, 10 years from now, right? Because I think a lot of when we get motivated to start trying to live healthier and have a hard lifestyle, we do too much and it's not sustainable. So I like what he said about trying to start something that you can see yourself doing in the long run, not just you know, oh, I need to do this right now, but is this sustainable? And if it's sustainable, then you're probably doing the right thing, because you're changing your lifestyle, not just doing something because there's a quick fix.
Awesome, thank you. So the key word again is what? Sustainability. We just don't want to do eat and run, right? We want to make sure we set a goal, realistic goal. We maintain the motivation 21 days and keep it sustainable. So that's awesome. Thank you. We do have another audience question coming in saying, how many times do we have to do this every day? Mr. Caleb, how many times do you recommend we do the workout? 3 times, 4 times, once? Trade it out there.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is a good question. So like usually the way exercise works is that like you're lifting weights to stimulate those muscles, considering the nutrients that you put in, the carbohydrates, the protein that you're putting in. You're lifting weights so that your body become more stimulated to use those nutrients. And so, but in order to actually to lose the weight, to actually get stronger, you need to have those days when you allow your body to rest. Usually when it comes to lifting weights in general, that soreness that you feel in your muscles is very equivalent to like getting a cut on your arm. Like, you know, you don't actually, you know, it takes time for that cut to heal up. Just like when it comes with the muscles, you need to give your body the nutrients it needs to recover and the sleep, the rest in between. So if you decide to do exercise every day, I would say, you know, just make sure on those days that you're not lifting weights to do something that's low impact. Maybe it's walking for a little bit, you know, doing like doing chores around the house or whatnot. Just something that's not directly impacting the muscle so it can actually recover. Pretty much the amount of minutes that you should get, honestly, you don't really need no more than 30 minutes. Like if you like you have people that lift weights for 3 hours or 2 hours, whatnot, you know, that you won't, it's really more important to be consistent with your exercise as opposed to trying to go all out that one particular day, you know, and then listen to your body, allow your body to relax and rest when it needs to. Like I said, at the end of the day, it's about being consistent with your exercises and in the long term.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. We do have 2 questions related to medication and 1 other question for you, Mr. Caleb, but I would ask the medication related question. So Dr. Ndefo, we have some people in our audience asking, the medications you showed us are all like prescriptions, so we need to talk to the doctor, but we also see ads and, you know, over-the-counter medications with claims of weight loss, weight management. Would you recommend starting from over the counter before going to prescription, or what's your take on that?
So the only over the counter medication I would recommend for weight loss is Ally. Everything else is unproven, and not just by me, but the guidelines for obesity do not recommend any of the herbs or spices or any of those things that you've heard that help with weight loss. I think a lot of times with the herb, they're a flavorful way to avoid salt and sugar, but any of those sort of things that have been packaged and are sold to you on the infomercials in the middle of the night, a lot of those things don't have the evidence behind it. Think about it. If those things actually worked for weight loss, they would actually be FDA approved for weight loss. And, you know, they would have gone through all the research and had the science to prove it. Because if you had something that really worked, trust me, you want to get it FDA approved so that everybody can get on it. So a lot of those things don't work. What really works is a lifestyle change. That's what really works. And when that's not enough, then you pursue the prescription medications. But I 100% recommend talking to your physician, talking to your primary care provider about a medication if you feel like you need one. And I do not recommend anything over the counter with the exception of Ally.
Awesome. Thank
And
you.
the only reason I recommend Ally is because it's prescription, just at a higher dose prescription and a lower dose, just like Motrin is prescription at a higher dose, or, you know, that's the same. That's the only reason I recommend Ally. But other than that, go see your doctor, get a valid, real prescription for an FDA approved medication if you
Awesome.
feel you need it.
Thank you so much for sharing that. For the audience, I just posted that drug. It's Ally, ALLI. If anyone is interested, you know, trying that out over the counter, but otherwise a prescription medication is recommended. Follow-up question to that, Dr. Ndefo, should we be concerned about getting addicted to weight loss medication? Is it something that you start and you can never stop, or, you know, take it for 3 months, 6 months, and when does it end?
That's a great question. Phentermine is technically a controlled substance because it does have some addictive possibilities. And Quizme has phentermine also built into it. The rest of them don't have that issue. So medications, I recommend medications if the lifestyle changes are not enough, right? And especially with the GLP-1 receptor agonists, so Saxenda and Wegovy, those ones they will help you lose the weight, and it's probably not something that you need to be on for a lifetime. But right now they are new, so we're not sure the length or the duration of time that those are going to be recommended for. But I think that our focus needs to be on the lifestyle changes, and even with the help of the medications, but, you know, focusing on the lifestyle, because that part is what you want to be able to do for the rest of your life.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Ndefo. We have a question here from Mr. Caleb, and it's saying, do I need to be warming up before jumping on the treadmill in the morning?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it depends on what exercise you're doing on the treadmill. If you're going for a high sprint as soon as you get started, then yeah, you definitely do need to warm up. But there's many variations of warming up. Some people do prefer to stretch, but also walking in general. If you're planning on walking, usually like if you walk at a slow, moderate pace, that's considered a warm up as well too. And then as if you're looking to graduate into the power walking, then you know, you definitely want to start off with a casual slow walk first. But yeah, you want to get in the habit of warming up, especially if you're on a treadmill, just to prevent pulling any muscles, for instance.
That's a great advice. Thank you, Mr. Caleb. One other question here from Mr. Sema in the audience is asking, hold on, I'm sorry, is it okay for kids to do this exercise like the ones you just showed us today? And before you answer, I'm just going to speak ahead of myself because I'm excited, because in August we are focusing on children. So parents, bring the kids in right before school starts so you can show them some, you know, consistency. And Mr. Caleb will be back in July and in August. But the one in August will be focused specifically on children. But since we have the audience question now, I'll go ahead and throw it open for Mr. Caleb to respond.
Okay, so to answer that, yes, kids can do the exercise. So pretty much, you know, if you're having a child that's about like, you know, 11 or even 9, they can do body weight exercises. You know, as long as you know, first and foremost, you want the exercise to be as safe as possible. So you don't want to have your kids or anyone doing weights or doing exercises that far exceeds what they're able to pick up as well. But if, you know, kids can do these exercises, it will not stunt their growth. You know, it'll actually help promote an active lifestyle form as well too. But there are many variations of those exercises, and yeah, in August, I will definitely focus the exercises more for kids as well too. So, you know.
Awesome.
I just want to quickly say that when you were doing it, I called my kids because, you know, they're home for the summer. So that's why I had my camera turned off and they were doing the exercises along with you. And then when you were like, turn your camera back on, I was like, go, run out of here, leave.
How did they do with the exercises? Were they
did very well. They did. I think because what you presented wasn't so,
like,
it wasn't too much. It wasn't extreme. It was doable. So they really enjoyed it, and all three of them squeezed in here and they followed along. It was fun.
Hey, that's good. That's good. I'm glad to be a positive influence on kids.
Exactly. And you know, to the audience, just if you are wondering, this recording is going to be posted on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. So please follow us on YouTube, know where we are, and you can always go back and replay. And you know, we'll work with our team to get the segment of the exercise only, if that's what you just want to, you know, do with your children or with the family at home. So you can kind of, you know, create a routine. Our goal here is to lead us into developing and maintaining an healthy lifestyle. So this is very exciting. I believe the last question that we have here is back to Dr. Ndefo about medications. And this is saying, are there any side effects of the medications?
Absolutely.
I imagine the answer to that already, but I will let you take it on.
Are, and you know, I could do that commercial thing where at the end, you know, they give you that like 15 seconds with like, this medication can cause blah, 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 blah. But you know, side effects, some of them are common, some of them are rare, some of them almost never happen and are just in theory. But for instance, with phentermine, the thing patients will complain about the most is that it makes their heart race. With Saxenda and Wegovy, those ones are going to cause a lot of stomach problems, nausea, vomiting, constipation, just sort of, you'll feel like your food is not digesting as well. And part of it is how the medication works, and some of it is just side effects. So every medication has the potential to have side effects. So it's something that you want to look at. If you already have heart problems, then phentermine and those ones are probably not a good choice for you, just because they do cause that increase in heart rate and palpitations and that kind of thing. So any of all the medications that I recommended today, you need to consult with a physician. It needs to be prescribed. Your physician needs to be aware that you're taking it before you start, so that we can be sure that it is okay for you. Because yes, there are side effects associated with any medication that you take.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Ndefo and Mr. Caleb Boutte, and you know, to everyone in the audience for spending, you know, the past hour or so talking about this very important topic on achieving a healthy body and maintaining a healthy lifestyle. I think, you know, we've had it said repeatedly, consistency, motivation, and, you know, maintaining that motivation is key and it's important. So I want to say a big thank you to Dr. Ndefo and to Mr. Caleb, as well as to the Houston Health Department, Dawn Center, for allowing Mr. Caleb to join us this afternoon. I'll go ahead and share my screen as we wrap up for today's seminar, just going over a couple of announcements and our upcoming events. Okay. All right, so we do have a opportunity for the audience to share their feedback. We have the Community Engagement Center. We are very interested in hearing back directly from each and every one of you in the audience. Please share your feedback on, you know, what you've learned from today's seminar, what other topics you would like us to focus on in our future events, so that we continue to stay responsive to the need of the community as we continue to grow and evolve with each and every one of you. So The links to the survey is already posted in the chat box. Feel free to complete those. And we have an opportunity to give $10 gift card to 10 eligible participants that complete the survey. We have 2 upcoming events that we would like to share with you guys. We will be having a community conversation regarding obesity, healthy body, weight management. So this is going to take place on Saturday, July 17th at 10 a.m. It's going to be virtual on Zoom. So feel free to connect with us at that event. If you would like to be a part of the event, join us. And you can send a message directly to Asata at 281-667-4466, or leave us a message in the chat, in the Q&A, and we will connect you directly with the moderator for this event. And this is going to be $50. Gift card will be given as a way to say thank you for sharing your time and your experience with us. We are also glad to announce, just like I said a few minutes ago, that we have another seminar coming up in July, and this is going to focus on self-care and resources for achieving my healthy body. This is going to be on Thursday, July 29th. So please save the date, mark your calendars. It's going to be at 12 o'clock. We would have a presentation from a social worker standpoint, community resource based standpoint. And Mr. Caleb would also be joining us for a brief exercise session, just like we did today, because our goal is not just to say it, we want to be able to put it into practice and develop a sustainable lifestyle with the things that we are doing. Okay, and lastly, a big thank you to every one of us that were able to make today's event successful, to the leadership of the Center for Biomedical and Health Research here at Texas Southern University, to the leadership of the College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences, and to our very own CSU leadership and administration. A big thank you for the support to be able to put this event together, and to you, our audience. We cannot have had this event without you all joining in and staying engaged. So thank you for joining, but most importantly, we want you to continue to connect with us. So you find us on all social media handles: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Our handle is the same. It's at CECTX Southern U. So that is who we are. Or you can also send a text. Simply text TSUCEC to 855-264-9031. Or you can give us a call, 713-313-1233, or reach us by email. That will be cbmhrcommunity@tsu.edu. Lastly, we do have our website that is active and running, and it's also listed at the bottom of the page. So please feel free to reach out to us. We look forward to hearing from you, the audience, and we look forward to staying connected and staying engaged. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful rest of the day, and remain healthy, active, and let's continue this journey of closing health disparity gaps together. Thank you, and have a great afternoon.